Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. A big shout out to the organizers for organizing this wonderful event. And also thank you for the invitation to speak today. As part of my job, I have to travel extensively across Asia Pacific, from India, China, all the way down to Auckland. In fact, I was just in Auckland last week. And if there's one topic our customers and CXO of our customers, they want to engage on, they want to discuss, especially the last 18 months, is definitely the topic of AI and Gen AI. There's definitely a ton of excitement, but at the same time, equal measure in anxiety. So I thought I'll use the time today to share our perspective on how we at Mastercard see this space evolving over the coming years. Now, I grew up with a rotary dial wired telephone, and looking at this crowd, I think some of you did as well. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands. But if you had told me back then that 30 years later I'll be standing in front of an audience to speak about artificial intelligence, I would have probably laughed out loud and said that sounds absolutely crazy. But yet here I am, and here we are, standing at the cusp of the AI revolution. It's by no accident that we are here. We have been steadily but surely building up to this point. If you think about advancements like computers, the internet, mobile devices, data, compute power, all these advancements have led us to this particular tipping point. And if you zoom out and look over a longer period of time, you can see a compounding effect, with every technology breakthrough driving faster progress and adoption than the one that came before. Electricity took 46 years to achieve a 25% adoption rate in the US. Telephones took 35 years to become mainstream. And you fast forward to more recent times, smartphones took 3 years to reach 100 million users, and ChatGPT just 2 months to achieve the same milestone. And so that rate of change that has been dramatically rising over a period of time, and that's just going to continue going forward. And we see that clearly with businesses ramping up their investments into AI everywhere. It might look like a gold rush, but in many instances, it's actually a matter of survival. If you think about aging populations, low birth rates, that's definitely impacting capacity, that's definitely impacting the cost of capacity. In fact, our own Economics Institute project that for some of these countries, the sustained GDP outlook over the long term is negative for many of these countries. And so moving fast to embrace AI for automation, for productivity gains, to attract investments into the country, it becomes mission critical. I recently read somewhere that the average age of a farmer in Japan is 68 years old. And so for Japan, AI can't come faster. And today, with foundational models, large language models, low-code, no-code applications, creating the opportunity to democratize AI and Gen AI across businesses, industries, and the long tail, we imagine there's going to be an infinite number of use cases that's going to emerge over time. But I think for today, we'll just focus on a few that we think will be fairly transformative. We talked a bit about this in the earlier sessions. The first would be digital assistants or co-pilots. And this will start from performing simple tasks to over time becoming invaluable personal and professional aids. Whether that's to create a presentation deck like this, or helping me book my next family vacation, or helping my son learn a new language faster. Good luck with that. But fundamentally, I think digital assistants and co-pilots is all about making life at home and at work a lot easier. The second would be machine-to-machine connections. And when you combine that with AI, that's going to drive more automation, but also potentially more intelligent experiences. And so imagine you have a camping trip that's coming up, and you're quite excited about that. You're looking for a camping tent. You've shortlisted one on your phone, but you want to have a look at the physical item. And so your digital interface could help you navigate to find the store and then find the item within the store. You find it, you scan it, you add the item to the cart. At the same time, an offer pops up. It's a 20% discount. It's tied to a specific credit card, definitely a Mastercard. You don't have that card, so you click to apply, it gets approved, and you can use it instantly. At the same time, contextual information comes up, like the weather. The forecast is rainy, it recommends you waterproof sleeping bags, waterproof clothes. It helps you find those items in the store, you like them, you add them to your cart, you click to checkout, you grab, and you go. And so in that example, the entire end-to-end experience is fully automated, there's no human intervention, all enabled by machine-to-machine connections and AI between the retailer, the bank, credit bureau, location services, identity services, personalization services, and many more. Now, if you take machine-to-machine connections, AI, and you add to that mix the growing maturity of spatial computing, we see new possibilities to transform human-to-machine interactions. The ability to use hand gestures, eye movements, conversations with co-pilots to engage with virtual objects, images, and virtual applications, all that creating new possibilities in areas like commerce, education, healthcare, entertainment, manufacturing, and many more as well. Now, on the flip side, bad actors are always quick to embrace new technologies. So AI tools to generate hyper-realistic text, audio, video, images, that's increasingly being used to enable scams, fraudulent activities, and disinformation. Now, the rise of malicious deepfakes is definitely spurring a lot of regulations in this space, but at the same time, it's also giving rise to a growing market of AI-powered detection tools. For example, Intel has a product called Fake Catcher, which analyzes your blood flow data and facial motion data to detect manipulation. I don't mean actual human blood samples. Apparently, when our heart pumps blood, there are subtle changes in the video pixel colors, and so those signals that gets captured and sent and fed into an AI model that can then discern if it's real or it's fake. Internally, within organizations, extracting richer, deeper, more actionable insights, that's going to continue to evolve as well, with more companies leveraging advanced analytics, leveraging machine learning, and of course, generative AI and AI to improve decision making. And you add to that the growing use of techniques like data enrichment, where you combine your data set with the data set of others, techniques like federated learning, where you fuse the learnings from two different models of two different entities without actually having to move any of the underlying data around, so that enables cross-entity collaboration. And of course, AI and Gen AI to analyze unstructured data like social media posts, multimedia content. All this is definitely going to come together to unlock even more value from data in the coming years. We see a massive opportunity in the banking industry, especially from a lending standpoint, to use AI and Gen AI to simplify the application process, to improve the quality and accuracy of the consumer data that's shared, to potentially improve credit scoring to be more precise using unstructured data, leveraging Gen AI, and potentially even create net new credit scoring models that widens the pool of credit eligible customers. Now, thanks to our network, we are able to execute AI value creation at scale, and we do this simplistically in three ways. We leverage our unique data set. Obviously, that comes out of the billions of transactions we process every year. To be precise, 140 billion transactions across 3 billion cards and 120 million merchants globally. We take the outputs from that unique data set and we deploy them through platform technology, and they integrate nicely into our client workflows to help them accelerate execution and time to value and time to money. And then lastly, we augment their teams with our domain experts so that they have the skills to solve for a specific problem that they want to solve for. For example, we are using AI to help our retailers, drive up more engagement. So consumers today, they are very used to that TikTok, Netflix experience, right? Where everything is hyper-personalized, and it is said that if you cannot catch somebody's attention within 6 seconds, you will be swiped away. And so our dynamic yield platform helps retailers deliver that hyper-personalized experience and content, and that helps them drive up engagement rates, that helps them drive up conversion rates. And we recently leveraged generative AI to launch Shopping Muse, which is a conversational commerce experience that sits alongside the content, so that makes the product discovery experience more like chatting with a friend. So for example, say you have a wedding that's coming up in Bali, you're not sure what you want to wear, Shopping Muse can take that context and it can output outfit recommendations, and then you can iterate with Shopping Muse on the colors, on the style, and finally land at something that you like to purchase. And so that makes the product discovery experience much better than having to scroll through tons of inventory on your small smartphone. As a global payments network, it's no surprise that when we think about deploying new technology, we definitely would look towards using it to instill more trust in commerce transactions. And so we recently used AI and Gen AI to launch what we call Decision Intelligence Pro, which scans over 1 trillion data points and within 50 milliseconds is able to predict the likelihood of a fraudulent transaction. And that has helped our bank partners, our issuers, boost detection rates from anywhere between 20% to even as high as 300% in some instances. We recently announced the launch of our AI-powered scam prevention and detection tools. Scams is a massive, massive issue globally. In 2021, over $55 billion was lost due to scams. Anybody in the room want to take a guess what that figure grew to in 2023? Got a very shy bunch. Somebody? No? 100? $1 trillion. Okay. In the UK, it's reported that there's one scam victim, not attempt, there's one scam victim every 12 seconds. Okay? So massive, massive issue. I think lots more to do in this space. Let me close with some cautionary calls. I think most companies that we engage with, they recognize that in the digital economy, the only currency that really matters is the currency of trust. And so it's fantastic, and we heard some of it earlier, it's fantastic there's a lot of emphasis on data privacy, data protection, governance on AI development, to help safeguard against risk like hallucinations, like amplification of bias, like breach of privacy and copyright. At Mastercard, we anchor all our technology development on 7 data and technology principles: fairness, accountability, transparency, privacy, inclusion, innovation, and social impact. And so our AI governance teams, they review all the AI that we develop, build, or buy against these 7 principles. And we have also invested significantly into automated bias testing, bias mitigation tools, as well as privacy-enhancing technologies. And that's internally within Mastercard. And then externally, we are extending that know-how to help shape standards around the world. For example, we are partnering with Princeton University, the Alan Turing Institute in the UK to publish research work relating to responsible AI and bias testing. We are also a founding member of the US AI Safety Institute by the US Department of Commerce. Thank you for listening.
Okay, I'm back again. Okay, questions on the QR? I think some of you are still scanning. So in the meantime, before I see any questions, maybe let's get started. I saw your 6 risks, right? Amplification of bias, lack of transparency, and so on. So among these 6, what do you think is the most important one?
They're all important.
Equally important. Okay, equally important.
That's a simple question. Keep them coming like that.
Yes, yes. So basically, for small businesses, then how do we manage, right? How do we go about?
Yeah, I thought there was an interesting discussion earlier from small businesses. Obviously, a lot of the development and value is going to start with the big tech, right? But the good thing is a lot of these things are now open source, right? And hopefully with low code, no code applications means you don't really need developer capabilities. Hopefully, then that makes it easy for you to plug and play for the particular use cases that you want, right? Because frankly, to build everything from scratch is very, very unfeasible for small businesses, right? The compute power that you need and things like that, yeah.
Okay. I don't see any questions yet, so maybe raise hands. Yes.
Hi, I'm Pamela.
Hi.
A question about how Mastercard is actually helping your SME customers in adopting AI, like what you actually have spoken, to prevent, actually to protect their assets by increasing revenue or reduce the risk that they are encountering.
So we are B2B to C or B2B to B2B because we work through our bank customers, right, to acquire merchant and then process those transactions, right? So the relationship is between the acquiring bank and the SME, not with Mastercard and the SME, right? So they acquire the SME transactions, then the acquirer sends those transactions to us to process and send to different issuing banks, right? So we create value-added services for our acquiring banks who will then distribute it out to SME clients, right? This could range from data insights to analytic outputs, right? Models that they can simply digest and then use it to optimize pricing, optimize marketing, out-of-the-box marketing tools and playbooks, cybersecurity diagnostic. We do quite a bit of that. We do something called digital readiness index, right? So the acquirers can use our tool to scan all the SMEs and give them a report to say, versus a benchmark, where do you stand on digital readiness in terms of the sophistication of your e-commerce transactions and how you process them and how you accept them from consumers, right? And the UI, UX and things like that. So those value-added services we do distribute through the acquirers and acquirers to the SMEs because we try to create that whole ecosystem effect.
Next question? Anyone from the, okay.
If there are no questions from the back, I'll take this. Okay. Looking at your last slide, you have 6 aspects or challenges, right? So I want to pick 2 of them, which is the amplification of bias and the lack of transparency. So as a financial institutions, you help banks to do the scoring. And how do you actually explain? Do you explain a situation where a person's credit is being rejected, and how do you explain that your system is bias-free?
Yeah, so again, we don't lend, we don't do lending. The banks do lending, right? We are just the payments technology network, right? I think when it comes to our own bias mitigation, right? Definitely we have tools to test against that and against our principles. If you can't explain it, right? To your point, transparent, you can't do it. It's got to be, I think our governance committee has to be satisfied that we can explain what's going on in terms of the results of the model, right? And we can test for, there's no particular bias in terms of overly punishing certain cohorts of segments of customers as well, right? So they will run counter models to make sure that the outputs do not do that, right? So that's the governance framework against the principles, right? So we got to have principles first, right? What is our principles when it comes to using this technology? And then you need tools, right? Automated bias testing, you need bias mitigation tools, you need privacy enhancing tools to strip away all the PII data.
So your transparency is actually relating to internal transparency?
No. Anything that we build, right? We have to review them against all these 7 principles.
You find that you can explain that.
Yeah.
Then would you explain to your customer that your credit card application is rejected?
No. We don't do the credit scoring. The banks do the credit scoring. Yeah, we're not a lender. We're not a bank.
Okay, one final question. Anyone else in the audience?
Okay, this is a bit off tangent. My son is getting married, and I'm looking for a suit. And I find your suit very interesting. Is there a way where I can scan it and then do a search and find out which store is making this suit and they accept Mastercards.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
No, is there a way for me to scan your suit and then go through the app and find out which store is making the suit and they accept Mastercards?
Good question. I need to come back to you on that. But great idea. Oh, there is? There you go.
So there is this feature, circle to search. You take a picture of anything or anything you find on the internet.
Oh, that's image-based, yeah.
So just click on the home button, probably 2 seconds, and then there will be a window where it will frame
Correct.
the image and it will search for you. Then it will bring up all the results where you can purchase it.
Correct. Yeah, there are applications and startups that deliver that technology. Yeah. That's Google-based, yeah.
It's actually a Google technology.
Open source, yeah, there you go.
Okay, now I know what my wife is doing when she's pointing her cameras at items that she wants. Okay, thank you. That's all the time we have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donald.